Hello and welcome to this video of the Tandberg Model 12 reel-to-reel tape recorder. This machine was launched in 1966 by Tandberg of Norway, and at the time was the flagship machine of the Tandberg range. It was Tandberg's fully transistorized recorder, with the exception of the two magic eye indicator tubes here on the left. I believe they retained that feature from earlier models because this type of indicator works as a peak indicator, has no inertia at all, and besides, tubes were probably cheaper than mechanical movements in those days. So I think the Tandberg engineers figured this was a better design compared to meters, but it did look rather old-fashioned, and I think that's the reason that they, in the next model, the 1200X, switched to using mechanical meters. But this is about the Model 12, and we'll do this as a fairly hands-on demonstration. So let's switch on the machine, on-off switch here on the right. We'll put a empty reel here on the left, and a full reel of tape on the right. As I mentioned, this is a stereo machine, which means it can play back and record two channels, but contrary to cassette recorders, for instance, it's possible to economize on the tape by recording in mono on the two channels separately. First though, we're going to thread the tape. We'll do that by inserting it through the tape slot here, and as you can see, when I turn the one reel one way, the other reel goes the other way. This is typical of Tandberg machines of this era. The reason is that this is how the braking system works. There aren't any brakes as such, the reels turn freely, but because they turn in opposite directions, when in stop mode, the tape stops efficiently and without having any brakes that need adjustment or replacement. But it's a bit awkward to thread this way, so Tandberg very thoughtfully included a free position on the function control joystick, which allows us to control the reels independently. And after that, we're ready to roll. What I've done here is I want to demonstrate how to listen to the two channels independently, because that's not obvious with this machine, and there are actually two ways to do it. The machine has two amplifiers, channel 1 and channel 2, which represent the left and right hand channels. For some reason, Tandberg have opted not to label the channels with the track numbers, which most manufacturers did. The left track would be tracks 1 or 4, depending on which side of the tape you were listening to, and the second track would be track 2 or 3, but Tandberg have opted to use the designations channel 1 and channel 2. These switches here are the record, playback, and amp switches, and the volume control on this machine is over here. There are actually two knobs. The top one is for channel 1, the left channel, and the bottom one is for channel right. Now if you want to listen to the left-hand channel, the recommended way is to put the amplifier playback record switch for channel 2 in the amplifier position, and this causes channel 1 to be duplicated on channel 2, which means we play back channel 1 in both loudspeakers. This recording is made on the left channel. This recording is no matter which volume control I turn up, I hear the recording from the left-hand channel. If I want to listen to the right-hand channel, I have to put this switch back here and put the channel 1 or left channel in the amplifier position. This is the right-hand channel. This recording is made, and then I get the right-hand channel. Leaving both in the playback position plays back both channels at the same time, one in each speaker. On the right-hand channel, and on this particular machine, that is channel 2. The channel is labeled channel 2, and it is the right channel on this machine. Which makes for a chaotic recording because the channels were actually recorded separately. Another way of doing this is by using the speaker selector switch. It has external, external plus internal, and internal positions, which would be natural for a speaker selector, but it also has a channel 2 internal, channel 1 external position, and a channel 1 internal, channel 2 external position. And as long as there aren't any loudspeakers connected to the external jacks, then that means that we can select which track we want to listen to simply by flipping this switch back and forth. So that actually works as a playback track selector. Slightly different than the other way of selecting tracks, because when in the channel 2 internal, channel 1 external position, the lower knob controls the volume for both loudspeakers, and the top knob doesn't do anything unless, of course, you have a speaker connected externally. So This is a Tandberg 12, and this recording is made on the right-hand channel. This is channel 1, and it is the left channel. This recording is made channel 2, on the left-hand channel. So, there we have it. Two ways of listening to the channels separately. The problem with this machine, one of the Achilles, or the Achilles heel of this machine, I should say, is that these switches, with age, they tend to go crackly because you get oxide and dirt on the contacts, and that means that switching them back and forth like this creates loud noises, and it pops and scratches, and you get intermittent behavior, which is rather annoying, whereas this switch tends not to do that, so that's why this is a great way of selecting tracks, as long as you don't have any speakers connected. The machine also has tone controls. We have a treble control and a bass control. The treble control actually works a bit differently than you'd expect. The 0 position is no treble increase or decrease, a neutral position, but turning it up might not be obvious on the video, but it actually decreases the treble. The bass control works similarly, except there you increase the bass by turning it to the right. That's a slightly unusual tone control. The reason being, I think, that the bass control is intended more as a loudness control, if you just want more bass with small speakers, whereas the treble control actually is used to damp out noise. If you have a noisy recording from a scratchy record or something like that, or hiss off a radio. I will now attempt to do some recording a bit further on in the tape, and for that I need a microphone. This is the Tandberg TM4, which was not delivered with the machine, but was an optional accessory recommended by Tandberg at the time. And if we run the tape, here we have a recording that I can erase. And to record, I usually put the pause button here in the stop position so I can set everything up before actually running the tape. In this case, I put the left-hand channel switch, channel 1, in the record position. It doesn't remain there unless I also put the function control joystick in the start position. I plug the microphone in, turn the left-hand volume control up a bit, and then I can get a signal on the left-hand meter indicating that I'm ready to record. So now I'm going to make a very, very slight, quick test recording just to demonstrate this feature. Back up the tape to the 0 position on the tape counter. Very, very slight, quick test recording. And there we have it. We can also make a recording on the right-hand channel by simply pushing the right-hand record playback amp switch in the record position and starting the tape. In this case, we turn the right-hand channel volume control up, and we get a signal on the meter, and this is what that sounds like. Right-hand channel volume control up, and we get a signal. One feature of this machine is that you can actually record on one channel while listening to the other. If I record on the right-hand channel again, but turn the left-hand knob up, and if we run the tape, so now I'm going to make a very, very slight now I can record on the right-hand channel while I'm listening to the left-hand channel. When I play the back together, so now I'm going to make a very, very slight now I can test recording on the right-hand channel. So this creates many opportunities for recording, making trick recordings where you sing along with yourself, or you play multiple instruments and things like that. But as you can see from the switching arrangement, the machine isn't terribly easy to set up. And one reason is that this record playback amp concept worked very well on the mono recorders, but carrying it over to stereo makes for these slightly clumsy solutions where you put the switch for the channel you don't want to listen to in the amp position, which to me is very non-intuitive, although I must agree it is very logical. As you see here, when the tape ran out, the machine stopped, or rather the motor stopped, without me having to do anything. It has an automatic mechanical end stop function, which is great when winding, not so great when playing back, as leaving the machine stopped while engaged in the play mode will cause a dent in the pinch roller and eventually cause wow on the machine if you leave it in that position for too long. Another thing you'll notice here is that the machine appears completely dead when there's no tape loaded into it, and some people mistake that for a malfunction, but it is actually a feature that the machine does not run without any tape in it. One could also see that as a security function, as if I load the machine up partially with tape and put fast wind on, The winding speed is rather high from the right-hand reel or the left-hand reel, and you could damage your fingers or something like that if you get them caught here. The machine has 3 tape speeds. I will not go into any more details about that, but the speed selector is up here. Mechanical speed selector, you can select which speed you want at any time. So there we have it, the Tandberg Model 12 stereo tape recorder from 1966. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.